The Royal Rumble is WWE's best pay-per-view event. It's the most fun, it's the one everyone looks forward to the most, it has the most intrigue involved, and it makes Sullivan feel all warm and cuddly inside. But while the Royal Rumble matches are what most people tune into the show to see, the Rumble event has yielded an incredible amount of stellar matches of the non-Royal Rumble variety as well. I know the title of this video says greatest championship matches, but for the sake of keeping this video a lot more uniform, I'ma just take the time right now to give the Royal Rumble 1992 and Royal Rumble 2016 the flowers they deserve, both as great matches for the WWE Championship, but this is a list for the non-Rumble matches out there. If we needed a couple more to fluff up the list and get it to 10, maybe we would have included them, but there is no shortage of great matches from the Rumble to give flowers to. So here, daisies and roses and tulips to you all. Tulips, whoop whoop, tulips, whoop whoop. I'm Tempest, hailing from partsFUNknown, and these are the 10 greatest championship matches from the Royal Rumble. But before we get on with our list, make sure of course that you like this video, subscribe, and enable notifications to always on so you never miss a fun list just like it, and it really helps out the channel, so just ring that bell, ring it, ding ding, ding 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 ding. Number 10, the Dudleys vs. Edge and Christian, 2001. Here is the match that Adam Blampied refused to have not be on this list. The 2001 Royal Rumble is one of the best WWE pay-per-views of all time, and it does indeed have one of the best opening matches of any WWE pay-per-view. The WWE Tag Division was still firing on all cylinders in 2001, with the epic game of musical belts being played between the Hardys, the Dudleys, and Edge and Christian, with the latter of those two teams going toe-to-toe at the 01 Rumble. The action is crisp, the crowd is in fuego, you get a title change which always fires the people up, and the whole match is just filled to the brim with peak Attitude Era energy that just makes me feel so There may be better wrestled matches out there, but here at PFKHQ, we rank matches based on vibes, and the vibes in this match are immaculate. Well, as long as you ignore the poorly aged concussion selling from Bubba Ray Dudley, but hey, it was a different, much stupider time. Number 9, Chris Jericho vs. The Rock, 2002. Chris Jericho's reign as undisputed WWF champion is not remembered for many good things. He beat The Rock and Steve Austin in the same night to win the title, and then, well, Jericho never really brings up what happened next. His reign was pretty stinky, with the focus in his feuds going everywhere but on him, but throughout all of this, there is one glimmer of quality wrestling in the form of his Royal Rumble 2002 title defense against The Rock. Jericho and The Rock have always had very good chemistry together, whether it be as promo partners, tag partners, or opponents, and even with copious amounts of interference and shenanigans from notable worst referee of all time, Nick Patrick, as well as a belt shot, nut shot, and the most blatant feet on the rope spot ever, this is a really good match. This again has the kind of Attitude Era wackiness that gets the early 2000s crowd all hot and bothered, and if the entirety of Jericho's reign would have carried the same energy, maybe people would have looked back on it a little more fondly. Number 8, John Cena vs. Umaga, 2007. Some may or may not know, but 2007 was the year that John Cena was the man. His track record on pay-per-view that year was incredible, serving as the highlights of his year-long reign as WWE champion. The beginning of that year, however, saw him go toe-to-toe with Umaga, a man who never became world champion in WWE, but absolutely should have. The Samoan Bulldozer fell to Cena at New Year's Revolution, but stood toe-to-toe with Cena again in a last man standing match at the Royal Rumble, a match that surpassed their previous match in every way imaginable. Cena was not a finesse performer by any means, especially at this point in his career, but he damn sure could fight, and a rough and tough weapons-filled brawl with a monster that he had to choke unconscious with the ring ropes is my kind of fight. It's a shame that Umaga never quite reached world title contention again after this match, but this was certainly one of the best title matches of Cena's career to that point, and a great way to kick off Cena's impeccable 2007. Number 7, Kevin Owens vs. Roman Reigns, 2017. There was some debate about whether to include Kevin Owens vs. Roman Reigns from the 2021 Royal Rumble on this list. Their last man standing match is also very fun and includes the third best use of a golf cart in wrestling history, behind Sammy Guevara's brains being scrambled and Raven almost killing WrestleMania X7, but that match doesn't have a crowd and this one does. The referee also stops his count to help Roman escape defeat in that match, which is just absurd. Nay, at the Royal Rumble in 2017, then Universal Champion Kevin Owens puts his title on the line against Roman Reigns in a no DQ, Chris Jericho in a shark cage match. There are some nutty spots in this match, like Kevin Owens being pushed through the Iron Throne if instead of being made of 1,000 swords, it was made of 1,000 chairs, a Superman punch with brass knucks, and finally a run-in from Braun Strowman to somewhat ruin the fun. That's bad, although it kept Roman from beating Owens from the title. That's good, but it meant Roman ended up being the number 30 entrant in the Royal Rumble that night. That's bad. But this match itself? That's good. Number 6, Kevin Owens versus Dean Ambrose, 2016. Quite a lot of talk of last man standing matches on this list. Here we have another example of one, this time with Kevin Owens taking on Intercontinental Champion Dean Ambrose at the Royal Rumble in 2016. This match is memorable to me for a few reasons. Among them are the excellent finish with KO taking the big flip bump through a tower of tables and Big Kev putting his hand directly in Michael Cole's face and breaking his glasses, which I'm choosing to believe was completely intentional and adds a full star of enjoyment onto this match for me. This is just such a fun match. The 2016 Rumble is a damn fine pay-per-view, and this is the best match on the whole show. The Intercontinental Championship has gone through more than its fair share of peaks and valleys during its lifetime, but every once in a while the belt would end up on the right people, able to put on a performance of the night and result in a truly fantastic match before the belt would inevitably end up back on The Miz, and oh god, I've just kicked the Miz fan hornet's nest and I'm gonna run now bye. Number 5, Chris Jericho vs. Chris Benoit, 2001. A lot of the time we say the top 2 or 3 entries in a list can mostly be interchangeable as they all come pretty close to being the best, but on this list, any of these top 5 matches can be argued as the best one, and you will hear no argument from me. That being said, here is my argument for number 5. By 2001, we had seen a drastic shift in the way of the ladder match thanks to the likes of the Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christian. Their tag ladder matches were revolutionizing the stipulation, but we hadn't really seen the same for the singles ladder match. HBK and Razor Ramon obviously had their classics, and The Rock and Triple H was something entirely different, but neither was truly emblematic of the direction the ladder match was going by the early 2000s. Chris Jericho vs. Chris Benoit, on the other hand, absolutely was, and holds up much better in the modern eye than its predecessors. Crisp and sharp and exciting, the two Chris's put on an incredible performance at the 2001 Royal Rumble over the Intercontinental Championship, featuring the first use of Jericho's ladder-assisted Walls of Jericho. This is a damn fine ladder match, and another key addition to one of the best pay-per-views WWE has ever produced. Number 4, John Cena vs. AJ Styles, 2017. The 2017 Royal Rumble's world title matches are both excellent, but this one is a cut above the other. John Cena and AJ Styles' 2016 rivalry had seen Styles solidly ahead of Cena in singles wins, resulting in Styles winning the WWE Championship in the fall. Now with the stakes raised even higher, Cena now looked to tie Ric Flair's 16 World Championship record that actually isn't the real record, but that's a fact for another time. This match is perhaps the peak of John Cena's style. Big move, kick out, lie there, big move, kick out, repeat. Yes, it is a formulaic match, but I'll be damned if that formula didn't produce some incredible matches. This match in particular is so impressive, with Cena and Styles never leaving the ring once during their 24-minute classic. They're just taking the 50,000 people in the Alamo Dome on a ride, complete with intense drama and excellent character moments like Styles reaching for his title after he's lost, only to collapse back to the map when he gets handed to Cena. You could argue this is the best match of John Cena's career, and what a career he's had. Number 3, Kurt Angle vs. Chris Benoit, 2003. Boy, the 2003 Royal Rumble is a funny show. You have WWE's worst match of the year in Scott Steiner vs. Triple H, and then immediately afterwards, you have WWE's best match of the year in Kurt Angle vs. Chris Benoit. Angle and Benoit always had absolutely insane chemistry, the kind of chemistry where they could just get in the ring together and just grapple with nothing being called, nothing being planned ahead of time, and it would still end up being by far the best thing on the show. This match is the best of their epic rivalry, with a crowd hungry to see Benoit win his first WWE Championship, only to be disappointed by Angle not willing to give up his title. I say disappointed loosely, of course, as the 15,000 in attendance in Boston gave Benoit a standing ovation after the match, which is always a sign that the crowd has appreciated a special performance. Among them may have been Triple H, as Kurt has said that Triple H told him this was the best match he had ever seen when he got back through the curtain. Maybe he was just amazed by the gap in quality between this match and the one he had just had. Number 2, Triple H vs. Cactus Jack, 2000. A Triple H match that is exceptional, however, is this one. Neither Triple H nor Mick Foley were the top guy to carry WWE in 2000, but with Steve Austin on the shelf for an extended period of time and The Rock otherwise occupied with his own path to WrestleMania, Trips and Cactus Jack were the ones to take the reins of the main event scene during the start of 2000. And I'll be damned if they didn't put on the best rivalry of the year. Triple H had yet to fully prove himself as the top heel of WWE. He had been WWE champion a few times and was well on his way, but needed a true career-solidifying rivalry to cement that position. Enter Cactus Jack, the hardcore legend and the perfect person to make Triple H have to prove his toughness in order to remain a credible top guy in the eyes of the fans. At the 2000 Royal Rumble, these two had a legendary street fight inside Madison Square Garden, complete with every form of violence you could ask for from a WWE main event of the time. A wildly intense crowd brain-melting violence, complete with a beloved babyface and a truly detestable heel. This is a real lightning in a bottle match that is maybe the most integral moment of Triple H's rise to the main event scene, and it is by far my favorite Triple H match of all time. But in terms of matches at the Royal Rumble, it finishes just shy of number 1, Brock Lesnar vs. John Cena vs. Seth Rollins, 2015. For as dog shit, god-awful, put it in a hole, set it on fire, and bury it still screaming bad as the 2015 Royal Rumble event is, it does have the best example of a great match on a bad show ever. Go watch Adam's list of great matches on terrible pay-per-views to find out the other 9. Brock Lesnar, John Cena, and Seth Rollins went to war over the WWE Championship at the Rumble, and I don't know if a perfect match exists, but if it does, this is one of them. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly, with the good John Cena fighting valiantly against the bad Seth Rollins, who was trying to weasel his way into the title, with J&J Security doing his bidding, and the ugly movie monster Brock Lesnar, who is intent to destroy everyone in his path with no discrimination. This was the most perfect example of Brock Lesnar's Suplex City Destroyer of All Mankind run, and the people were 100% behind him and his sheer awesomeness. You had amazing spots like Brock Lesnar suplexing both of J&J Security at once, Seth Rollins hitting the most graceful flying elbow of all time, and Lesnar emerging from the grave to run wild and retain his title, because unstoppable killer Brock Lesnar was at one time the thing we all wanted. And then, unfortunately, this pay-per-view had to keep going. And that's our list. Make sure, of course, that you give it a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe, enable notifications to always on so you never miss some of the Royal Rumble content we got coming your way this month. There's going to be a lot of it, because who doesn't love a Royal Rumble? Until then, I've been Tempest. Jam that jam.